What's going on? Happy Sunday evening. Happy Sunday evening. So, tonight I just wanted to come on here and chit chat about a video that I put on the community wall. On that video, it was a young man explaining how he found out that his dad was not actually his dad. Again, it's on the community wall, and basically, what he's saying is that his mom and her husband, which is the only dad he's known his whole life, um, have been together. How many years did he say? I can't remember how long they had been together, but that was the only dad that he knew of. Then all of a sudden, his mom started to cheat with some man. What's up, JB? What's up, Boss King? You so funny. He said that his mom started cheating with this strange man, and then come to find out that the man she was cheating with was his biological dad. And so now that the dad is out the closet, he has proposed to her, and they have decided to get married. And this man's situation was he wasn't feeling it. He didn't agree with it. He didn't support it. And he was not going to the wedding. He said that his family was upset with him because of his decision. Mind you, we just been talking about boundaries and choices and decisions. And he said that his stepdad, which is the only dad he has ever known, he said he was devastated by the whole situation, and that he was going to support his stepdad. He said his stepdad was the one who walked him to school every day. His stepdad taught him everything he knows. His stepdad has been there for him through the ups and the downs. And he said he was not going to leave him by himself um, and turn his back on him. Now, in the comments, there was some people that were saying, well, you don't know what your biological dad's situation was, da 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 da. Here's the thing, and he definitely wanted the internet's uh, he wanted their opinion on what they thought about the situation. And here's the thing, from my opinion. First of all, that's him and his situation. And if he decide that he wants to support his stepdad as his real dad, because that's the only dad that he's known, then he has every right to do so. And I get it. A lot of people want you to try to have a relationship with your mom or try to have a relationship with your dad because that is your mom and or your dad. But here's the reality of it. Whatever his daddy's situation was when she got pregnant with him, we don't know. We don't know if he had a job. We don't know if he went to jail. We don't know what his situation was. But I would think at some point in time that he would want to have a conversation with her husband in terms, and I mean early on, in terms of, them being his kids, and whatever his situation is, just have a man-to-man conversation. Let them know these are my kids. I wasn't in a position where I could take care of them or do anything for them. I hope that you will allow me to, be a part of their life. I'm not trying to take your place, whatever the case may be. But here's the thing. If this man has grown up to be a full grown man, and not one time ever in his entire existence that he stepped to the forefront and identified himself as his daddy, then how can you expect this man to have any respect for you, let alone love? Where was he all this time? Hey, we don't know. We don't know. I did search his page looking for maybe a part two or something where he comes back and explains what the deal of what happened, what was going on. He never did. And I can imagine that it's very painful for him, because he got his whole family coming against him for a decision and a choice that he made, and he has every right to make it. You don't abandon somebody that easy when they have been there for you their whole life. They have raised you, they have paved a way for you, they took care of you financially, physically, and mentally. You don't walk away from something like that just because old boy was the one spit the seed in your mama. He took no responsibility for that seed. And here is what's really messed up about the thing. I can understand him feeling some kind of way about his daddy, but his mama should get some of that smoke too, because she could have identified at any particular time that her husband was not his dad, and she could have had a conversation with him and explained what happened, where his dad was, why his dad is not in his life, and those kind of things. But it don't seem like she ever tried to do that. So if he was useless, he needs to say exactly. My thoughts exactly. He need to stay gone. Ain't no need in coming in the picture now wanting nothing. Son sound like a real man. He's a real man to me too, JB. I think so. And I can understand, you know, I can understand from a certain standpoint about his family wanting him to be accepting of his dad, but they don't understand the hurt that comes with that when all of a sudden you've been gone my whole life, and just because you show up that's supposed to mean something. It doesn't it doesn't mean anything at all. And here's the thing, what's interesting to me is the people, society, want to shit on you for your decisions and your choices, but they can't give that smoke to the person that is deserving of it. You understand what I'm saying? you know, if whatever the case may be, it when the minute his mama decides she was gonna cheat on the husband with this man, then she might as well have went on and called a meeting, a house meeting, and put the shit on Front Street. You know what I'm saying? Because you leaving a man that had love for you, accepted your child that was not his, had love for your child, took care of you and your child or children all of these years, and now all of a sudden this nigga done came back in the picture and you just gonna up and walk away from me without him telling us, and make me feel like his dad was either in the military or his daddy went to prison. That's what it make me feel like. uh because it's one thing to cheat with him, but to up and want to leave your husband and marry him, that means you never stopped loving him. That means whatever, wherever he was, whatever the situation was, he was in, you guys couldn't be together for whatever reason. And it smells to me like she needed somebody that was going to take care of her kids, so she used her husband as a way to raise her kids, take care of her kids, and make sure her kids had everything they needed. And then as soon as old boy was back free and able to, step back into her life, she was willing to accept him and shit on this man. So it sounds to me like this dude and his dad, his father, they're going to maintain their relationship. They're going to do their own thing. And, he will be there with his father as he continues to age, and as he tries to pick up the pieces and recover from the hurt so that he can move on with his life. And I commend this dude for wanting to stand up for a man that's been there for him for day one. I commend it, because we see so many times the kids will up and flip and go wherever the money is. They will go wherever the lifeline is. They don't have any respect or love for somebody who has been there in their corner their whole life. The mom and the son's dad can go to hell on. Exactly. As he should. Exactly. Exactly. And I can imagine the hurt and the pain in his heart to be in a situation where his family will turn on him because he's not mad that his daddy turned on him. I have so many questions, but unfortunately, um, excuse me, I did put a few of them in the chat. He has not responded to them yet. One of my main questions is, when he got with this woman and this baby, knowing that it wasn't his, you know, apparently they fell in love, right? Because he wanted to give her his name, he wanted to give this child his name, and he wanted to take care of him and raise him just as though he's his. This boy said that his father doesn't have any biological kids. He is the only kid that he has had in his life. So can you imagine the devastation that would come behind this boy if he had decided to walk away from him to go be with a man that knows nothing about him? Can you imagine? And not only do I have the question of where has his daddy been all this time, but what's interesting to me is the woman was dumb enough, stupid enough to leave a man who took care of her and her kids to go be with a man that didn't do shit for her and her kids when she had them, whether he had the ability to or not. And now all of a sudden she gonna walk away from it all to go back to her love, the love of her life. Do he have a job now? Or are you paying for the wedding with your money? Does he have a home? Does he have somewhere to put you up in? Does he have a way to take care of you going forward? Because here's the thing. It's one thing to snip and to tip and snip with you, to be, hide and skiver in the bushes and sneak with you. It's one thing to sneak and creep. It's a whole different thing to accept her as a full-time responsibility, meaning you got to put a roof over her head, pay the utilities, get her hair done, her nails, pay her car note, and all of the things. Is that something he's able to do now? Uh, I don't know. It's just, I have so many questions, but I definitely respect the old boy for standing in his truth and his love by standing by someone who stood by him. He has no reason or no obligation to his daddy. His obligation is to the man that sacrificed and did everything for him, and I totally respect it. What's going on? It has been a long time. See your future. Hey, so it'll be interesting, and I hope. Listen, I don't wish any harm on his mama, but I certainly hope she gets what she deserves, because that's very disrespectful, and I can imagine the pain and hurt that that man has on his spirit right now. um Man, that's something else. But again, we we find out things the hard way, and instead of trying to find a way to work through everything, when you up and make a decision that affects the entire family without taking 5 minutes to sit down and have a conversation about it, that's very hurtful. And the fact that she was cheating with him, and then he asked her to marry him without one time saying, I want to have a conversation with you, your husband, and the kids. That right there shows that he wasn't about shit from the get-go. And it almost feel like she got pregnant by him. He didn't want to settle down with her. He went on to do his thing. She went on to find somebody else that wants her, that wanted her in their life, that wanted to take care of her, wanted to take care of another man's child. She found somebody, and she didn't respect him enough to have a conversation with him before, this other stuff. Like, I had questions such as, how did you guys find out that she was cheating? Did y'all, when y'all found out she was cheating, did it come out in the forefront in an explosive manner? And then, your father said, well, you got to go. And then all of a sudden, the homeboy proposes, and then everything comes out. Like, he didn't tell the full rundown on what happened. He just kind of, told it like I'm telling y'all, she was cheating. And the way he said when she was cheating was some weird, strange man. And he said, well, the man is my biological dad, but he said he's never been in my life, and I didn't know nothing about him. I didn't know nothing about the situation. That's telling on the mama. That's very telling of her, because she didn't have the appropriate amount of respect for her own child to even let him know, this is not your real dad. This is your stepdad. Your biological dad went to prison. Your biological dad went to the military. Like, she didn't tell him nothing until she got caught and had decided she was gonna marry this other man. Like, that's crazy. That's what I believe too. That's what I believe too, JB. I believe he is going to cheat on her. He is going to fall short some kind of way. Now she needed all the smoke. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Man, I definitely wanted to. Let me see if I can put the link in the chat. It might not work. We didn't work for us earlier, but we're gonna give it a try. Copy. Um, I definitely want to hear you guys' opinion on it, because I feel old boy's pain, and I respect the fact that he doesn't plan to leave his dad. I commend him on that. I think that's the right thing to do. Um, and it sounds like it it sounds almost like his whole family got upset with him because he wouldn't accept his daddy, to the point to where it pushed him to have to come to the internet to get some type of support, or to see, is he really wrong? Should he be accepting of his dad? I don't think he's wrong. I see you guys are on the same page as myself. Y'all agree that he hadn't done anything wrong. It falls on his mama and his biological daddy, and he's a grown man. He's taking care of himself. He pays his own bills, so it's not like he's stuck in a situation as if he was a teenager and he has to, he can't take care of himself. So he doesn't have a choice but to go with his mom, because that's who takes care of him. He's a grown man. He has his own everything. He's doing his own thing. And if something were to happen, he could always probably go home to his father and be with his father. The one thing about it is that the man that raised him and took care of him his whole life will be there for him. And if God is good, he will be able to be there for his father as he gets up in age and his body wears down and breaks down, and he will be needing someone to kind of help take care of him. So that's a plus on that side. But his mama didn't make good decisions when she was young and out here popping that thing and having these babies. She didn't make good decisions then, and apparently she's not making good decisions now. And the decisions that she's making, she is going to have to live with. So if this man is good to her or not, she chose to leave the man that was good to her to be with the man that she has been in love with, I guess, this man's whole life. I mean, what else can you do? But I can imagine the pain that he's going through, and it's unfortunate. He didn't mention anything about being married or having a girlfriend or a fiance. So we don't know if he has someone on his inner circle that he can talk to and confide in, and if he does have somebody on his inner circle, maybe they're giving him both sides of it. Well, that's your dad, and you should try to get to know him and this that and other. But okay, but that's his dad. But what about his dad? His dad should have tried to spend some time and get to know him. His dad should have met him, going into his job one day and introduced himself and tried to have some type of a conversation. But it feels like his dad took a dump and left all of them, and now he has come back, and his mama was so accepting of him and didn't give her kids any chance to understand what happened. And if he's asking us for our opinion, it sounded to me like maybe she still haven't given him an explanation as to what happened and where his daddy been and why his daddy ain't been around. Because the man is coming to the internet looking for, validation for his decision. He's very valid in the decision that he made. And if he doesn't want to have a relationship with his dad, he don't have to. Just because somebody's your mama and daddy doesn't mean that you that it doesn't mean that you have to hang around. It's all in how you were brought up. It's all in your upbringing, right? Because if your daddy is dropping babies every time he touched down in a different state or a different city, and he's not finding the time to spend with all of his children and do all of the things and be there for them for they games and their plays at school and Easter Sunday at church. If the daddy is not in your life like that or trying to make time to be in your life, then you don't have any obligation to have a loyalty to them. They birthed you. Birthing you and raising you are two different things. And your loyalty and your love usually goes with the person that raised you. Now check here's the thing. Somebody can raise you and then they fall out of love with you, right? We see it all the time because the manner in which they were raised, it may have been something that they were not happy with or that they did not approve of or did not agree with. And as a kid, you don't have a choice. You can't take care of yourself. So you have to fall in line with however you being raised, you got to get with the program because you can't do for yourself. You don't have a job. You're not making your own money. You don't have a car. You can't, come and go as you want. You have to do whatever it is they tell you to do. And that's the gist of it. But a lot of times kids are raised or trained up in a manner that as kids get older, they may see it as a different type of training, right? They may see it as you used me. I have friends and family that use they credit and everything is bad, so they start using their kids' social security number to get the cable in their name. They use their kids' social security number to go and get a new phone in their name. They use their kids' social security number to go and try to get a car because their credit sucks. So you have to be aware of how you're raising your kids, because if you get yourself in a position to where you have to use your child's innocence, and I call it innocence because they don't have no control over how their social security numbers and stuff is used when they're kids. But if you have to start using your child's information to live and function in life, that speaks volumes as well. Because if you can't have the kids and take care of them and do all of the things on your own without violating their privacy and what they were born to start off with, then that kind of, again, that speaks to the character of that particular parent. And your kids will resent you for it. That they'll resent it. There are kids out here who have had the best of life, who have been trained and raised and taught, but ultimately, as they got older, it turned into something different. And those kids didn't like it, and whether they could speak about it or not, they used that as a means of being angry instead of having a discussion about it. Maybe they tried to have a discussion, maybe they didn't, who knows. But at the end of the day, if they had resentment about it and they couldn't talk about it and they couldn't work it out, then that causes a problem, right? Now that means that, even though you're a parent, they see you in a different light because of what they've seen all their life and how they're getting that end of the stick. you know there are times when people need things and they have to take desperate measures to get them. But if you use a child as a pawn, the child remembers that. And as they get older and they can identify what is going on, they may not feel like they can speak on it, but deep in their spirit, it bothers them. It bothers them. And so, now you just think you want to cut off your relationship. And a lot of times people don't like the parents being strict. But one thing I can say about it, what they said, one thing for certain, two things for sure. I was strict with mine, and I can assure you, man can't never tell you anybody touched them inappropriately, did anything to them, you know what I'm saying, that was inappropriate while they was a child, because I was in their face. I was in their business 24/7. You couldn't go nowhere without me being outside in the car looking, watching, down the street, standing on the rooftop. Like I was in all of their shit. I know how I snuck around and the thing lies that I told to be able to go places and do things, because I wasn't allowed to do a lot of that when I was growing up as a child. So I had my share of lying and stealing and sneaking and creeping and doing all of the things. So I can only imagine what my kids would have done had they been given opportunity. But I tried to stay ahead of the game and stay on top of it. And it wasn't so much what you couldn't do, it was what I will do with you, what I can do for you. Y'all want to go to the movies? Okay, I will chaperone y'all to the movies. I will take you. You have your friends. Tell them we'll meet them at the movies. Y'all can go in, and I'll go see another movie. And I was trying to be there to make sure things were in order. I remember chauffeuring some kids to the movies one time, and I bought a ticket to go to the movie. And as they was getting the popcorn and everything to go into their movie, I went back and got a refund for my ticket and went outside because I really didn't want to watch the movie. I came to watch the kids, but I let them believe that they would be in one movie theater while I was in the other one. Well, child, I'm sitting outside smoking, and I look up and hear these little fuckers come sneaking out the door. They gonna leave the movie theater thinking that I ain't gonna know they gone. Child, how about I must have pulled the car up and said, "Where y'all think y'all going?" Now, see, now you done fucked up. Get in the car. I'm finna take you home. Y'all can call y'all parents or whoever you need to call. And so then that cut her short. I was like, girl, see, now I can't trust you. So now you can't be mad at me if I won't let you go out with your friends and do this, that, and the third. Be mad at yourself because you got caught. Had you been able to pull it off without getting caught, you might have stood a chance. And I said, but because I didn't trust you out here with these kids like that, and I wanted to make sure that you was going to be in a safe environment, you've now violated my trust, and now you asked out. So, I have to say, it was, everything was good in my eyes uh while you was with me. But when you get to the point to where you not listening, and I feel like I'm gonna end up putting my hands around your throat instead of on your butt, then yeah, we need to do a little something different. And of course, when we did something different, you know, both parents is not gonna be as Johnny on it as how mama gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Mama is hip to the lies and the tricks, and she know how to work around, and she know how to, you know, flip the script and be and catch you. You know, whereas daddies are not that in tune. They try to believe you, and you know, if you a daddy's girl, you get anything you want, and you can have. And so, you know, hey, it's a different outcome. It's a different outcome. Um, but yeah, I could understand. I could understand that. Man, I can understand that. I can understand that. Yeah, and to switch gears real quick. So, Tisa, shout out to Tisa Tales. Tisa Tales then came out tonight and reported that Cardi B done forgave Stefan. Now listen, I did not listen to the whole video because some other shit was coming up in the chat that got my attention. For instance, and shout out to Ants Inc. I subscribe to Ants Inc. I watch him on Twitter and YouTube. Ants done reported earlier how Mexico was getting towed up over there. They had videos of the people running out the airport, and you know they was running, child, bags in tow. He showed video footage of different fires in Mexico where stuff was burning, and what he reported was that allegedly it was militia in the Met. You saw that, It was militia in the airport, and so that's why the people was trying to run and hide. And they had said that something along the lines of when the militia starts setting shit on fire. What did he say? They try it's a meaning behind it. When they start setting stuff on fire, that means it's time to rock and roll. So they're fixing to pop something off. It's not gonna be good. And everybody know when you see the militia come and get the hell out the way because they don't have no love or no respect for nobody. Well, Ants reported that earlier today when I had got lit and laid down for a nap. This evening when I wake up, he done reported that girl, somebody done went over there and whacked the cartel leader. I said, wait a minute. Now, didn't the cartel just tell them his boys to go to the border and make sure that them Americans ain't slip dipping and tripping and do this and do that, and we don't want them over here, and run all of them out from, and he was over there just, he was going ham. Now all of a sudden he ain't no longer with us. Like, who did it? What happened? Don't tell me we creeped over there and did that, because child, that is definitely a conversation we're gonna have to take to X. But I was like, wow. So in the midst of me leaving Tisa to go hear that, I went back to listen to a little bit of it. And apparently, Offset been out here antagonizing, picking, and poking the bear. And they said that some girl on Twitter, or excuse me, on X, had made a post, and then someone commented, "How can you hate Stefan Diggs?" And Cardi B liked the tweet. Setting cars on fire because the boss got, yeah, okay, that's what it was, because he got an, okay, got you, because I was just kind of like, I remember the boy was explaining, what it means when they start the fires, but I couldn't understand, how did somebody get that close to the boss, when he calling the shots. So good looking out, and wow, it's it's crazy, man. It is too much going on out there for me to keep up with. Oh, but he is. Oh, wait, what he said? And they got his son as well, but he alive. Oh, wow, wow, that's crazy. Wow. Well, I listened to a video. Shout out to Boss King. He sent me a link, and it was the Iranian, I don't know what you call him, president, ambassador, prime minister, I don't know, prime minister, I don't know what. But he was somebody in authority. And he did a video and they had it looped. It was just repeating and repeating. And he popped his stuff about Don Juan. He said he was a bully. And he said that, Don talking all this rip rap, got his people over there excited and hyped. They over there destroying shit in Iran, trying to show their support for Don Juan. And homeboy said, let me tell you something. He said, if they strike, we have the ability to strike back. And he said, while we do not have access to nuclear weapons, that was our choice, but the lick will be felt. Let me tell you something. Basically, homeboy was saying, we ain't never scared. That was the message I got. We ain't never scared. So no, you ain't gonna bully me and punk me into signing and agreeing to nothing. We gonna do what we gonna do, when we gonna do it, how we gonna do it, where we gonna do it, when we gonna do it, and that's it. And if you don't like it, you can just be mad. But if you hit us, we're gonna hit back, and you're gonna feel it. Now listen, I ain't never been in the military. That's down southern Mexico and Juarez. Oh, okay. I have never been in the military, but from my understanding, from a military perspective, when people go to war, um, in the war book, there are places that are protected. You cannot, in war, you cannot fire upon a hospital. You cannot fire upon a school. So everything else is, you go for it. So I got to thinking, man, if somebody fly over here, I guess if we want shelter, you better run to a hospital or a school. Now the hospital is going to be flooded. They're going to be filled. So if you should just so happen to need to run and flee to a hospital, then you definitely need to go down into the basement, into the maintenance room, somewhere that you can hide and not be kicked out of the hospital, because a hospital is for the sick and the emergencies only. But through the chaos, you will definitely be able to sneak in. And most of the time, in a situation like this, schools will possibly be closed, and if not, the security will be reinforced. So simply going over to the football field should be enough in terms of finding somewhere to try to stay safe. Just sharing. And they had the internet off until today in the whole country. Something about, absolutely something about to jump off. Let me tell you something. Last week, uh, they did a strike on the social media. YouTube and several other platforms were reported as down and not functioning. There have been a couple of days this week where YouTube been acting kind of funny. So remember, again, I have to remind y'all of conversations that we had a couple of years ago. Um, hey, I've always said stock up so that you can be ready when they hit the switch. You'll have what you need. It is a possibility that some shit is gonna go down. It's gonna be very, very bad. And if you are not prepared already, you may be in trouble. Well, over in the Middle East, they don't go by that. Oh, okay. Oh, really? Oh my. Well, that's not good. That's not good at all. Huh. Well, again, pray to God, because I haven't been keeping up as to last time we talked about Iran. Excuse excuse my allergies. We were talking about the fact that somebody else, who was it that was into it with Iran? Was it China? I think it was China and Iran was going back and forth. They was going at it. They was having some problems and some issues, and they had eased their boats on over there in the water, and they was preparing and testing and all of the things. And I don't know how we ended up into it with Iran, but what is interesting to me is at one particular time, the three amigos was Don Juan, Putin, and Z. And now all of a sudden, we not cool with Putin and Z no more. We talking shit to one another and acting like we want to fight one another. So I'm a little confused as to what happened there. And Momo usually will break a lot of that stuff down for me, but um, I'm almost kind of in a position to where I don't think I want to know. Because I've learned so much over the years, and now that the stuff is just now coming out to the rest of y'all, it's kind of like mentally I'm not even prepared for it. Like I don't think I can handle it. I don't want to go down no more rabbit holes right now. I got too much on my plate that I'm trying to deal with, and the rabbit hole is just not working for me. Yeah, I don't want to stress out, stroke out, or have no type of medical situation because I didn't got all worked up over what's going on with Don Juan. I knew it was gonna be some shit sooner or later. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still looking for this check. They done promised. They done promised two checks. One of them ain't even been voted on by the Senate, and the other one, I don't know what the hell going on. I was told that they were being sent out. It was in motion, but I haven't heard very much or seen anything since then. Um, yeah, so for Cardi B, I don't even know. It's almost really nothing else I can say on that one because Cardi told us when she was pregnant with Blossom that she was scared to tell her team. She was scared to tell Atlantic. She didn't know what they was gonna say or what they was gonna do. I don't even know if she's had an opportunity to sit down and figure out how she got in the boat that she was in. If you remember, over the last couple of weeks, she kept saying that she was over budget and she was going to have to use her own money for her tour dates and things. I believe it came to be like that because every time it was time for her to have a tour, have a concert, she ended up pregnant and she couldn't do it. And I believe what the label said, we're not putting in any more money until you produce some. Because for 7 years now, just about 7 years, you've been laid up on your back. And so, we don't know what this tour is going to bring. So we only gonna give you this much. And if you need more, then you will have to pull it out your own pocket. Because, you could come up with a baby at any minute. Keep in mind, we still waiting to see is she really pregnant or was she pregnant and she decided that she was gonna terminate it. Don't know yet. It's gonna give us another few months. It's gonna all show. Also, Cardi said that when the tour was over and that she was going back over yonder to Colombia or somewhere Dominican and she was going to get some of that booty taken off. Um, I don't know why she went and got all that ass in the first place. I really believe she was low key competing with Nikki, but and because she's so petite, hers ended up looking so much better than Nikki's and many others who have had the BBL. But she says she's gonna go and get it taken out. Um, we'll see if she has any of the breasts taken out. We'll see is she planning on going natural like Angela White has been telling all the people. You look at the number of women that jump up and get these BBLs from 21 to 61 because Vivica Fox is guilty. This bitch done jumped up at 60 and went and got some BBL, and hers don't even look right. And why she would mess up her face, I have no idea. But I mean, I guess that's what a little bit of money do to people. It make people want to go out and change the way they look. If you ain't changed how you look by the age of 60, child, ain't no need in doing it now. Because remember, y'all running out here getting all of this plastic and the silicone in your breast and in your butt. And when your ass gets 60 and 75 years old, you're gonna look a hot mess. All that shit is gonna it. Listen, you better be trying to ask yourself, does that stuff expire in your body? Do you get to a certain age and it start rotting? Because I remember women saying you had to go and get it kept up every 6 years or so. It was something that you was gonna have to go back and do, and it's really interesting because all of these women that's running around, changing how they body look and doing all of the things, they're not thinking about what's gonna happen as they get older and they age and their body starts to the muscle and stuff starts to break down and give way. Everything ain't gonna stay sitting up and perky. We weren't built for everything to stay sitting up and perky your whole life. Shit gonna start dropping and dripping and hanging low. And then what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Um, you don't when he got silicone put in your breast, and now all of a sudden you want to have a baby. So what is he? Is he drinking breast milk, or is he drinking a breast milk and a silicone concoction? Like, I got questions. I don't know. But listen, if Cardi wants to forgive Stefan, go head on. It is not going to change what he's out here doing. It's not going to change his mentality. And I hope you forgiving him and taking him back, you understand it's not going to change the type of sexual activities that he's involved in. So if she want to take him back, she may be one of those women that just they gotta have a man. It ain't nothing they can do. They gotta have a man. They feel like they can't live without a man. And now we done seen the picture of her going in the building holding some tall, dark skinned dude's hand like she got another man in her face. And I'm like, girl, can you give your cooch a break? Can you just sit down for a minute and breathe and remain single for just a minute? Because it ain't even been a 2 full weeks since the Super Bowl, maybe 2 weeks today since the Super Bowl, and she broke up with him. And that's all it took was 2 weeks. Stefan done went to a party or a club somewhere with Pre, and he done propped his phone up and he's singing a Keith Sweat song, and the audience, they all like, oh, he's singing for Cardi, he missed Cardi. Then when you look up, he done pulled Pre into the picture hugging on her in the party while he's singing, and I'm like, but bitch, you want to forgive him and he's still messing with the baby mama? Like, what? Let him and his baby mamas go. Let them do them. Let him go through his lawsuits. Let him get whatever justice that's designed to go his way. Let him pay off all his people. And then if he got some money left, let him spend money on you. But don't tie yourself to him as girlfriend, boyfriend. Y'all can just be sleeping buddies. Y'all sleep together occasionally every now and let him continue to invest and set stuff up for the children. But don't let him have a permanent place in your life, in your heart. You tried that once before and it didn't work. And you ended up hurting on the short end of the stick. And I believe if it hadn't been for her trying to complete her tour, she would have been crashed out. So, I think she should take her time and her postpartum blues and spend with her kids and enjoy her baby and not get pregnant no more for the next couple of years. Because right now she just got step every year. Every 2 years you want to come up with a baby. And it's kind of like, well, damn, girl. But anyway, child. I'm about sick of these bitches and these no good ass niggas. I just really am. I'm sorry for the words that I use, but it is what it is. I don't get it. I don't get it. She don't have no boundaries. She not paying attention to the choices and decisions that she making. And then as soon as one of them kids get something, some epilepsy or some kind of infection or disease, you'll wonder where it came from, and it's because you probably had caught something and didn't even know you had it. Now you done passed it on to an innocent baby for nothing. You know, I've been watching her. The little girl that was dying. I watched her pay all of her medical bills. Some other little girl that was had made something or drew something for her. I seen her pay her college tuition for the next 4 year, 2 or 3 years or something like that. And I thought to myself, okay, I see your financial people telling you to get off this money, do your philanthropy so that you can get it back on your taxes, and it may be able to, what's going on, poetic justice, hey mama, you may be able to recoup some of that money back. So I see her spending now in a more philanthropic situation. And it's a good look for her. But as sooner or later, I hope the kids know that she is not a role model for you to look up to. That is not Cardi B. Unfortunately, when these people come out with this music, that's the first thing the kids do, jump up and start looking at the people as role models. These singers, rappers, actresses, country, rock and roll, pop, these people are not role models. They're in the wrong industry to be role models, because when you sit up and look at how a lot of them came onto the scene and what they look like now, their entire appearance has changed. And if you sit down and make a list, if you write down some of these people and look at the difference, you will be able to put two and two together and say, oh, these people must have sold out to get to where they are. People like Lil Uzi Vert, Doja Cat, Sam, what is it, Sam Jones? Who else? What's the girl name? Nikki something. I don't remember her name. She wore the double color hair. Um, it's a couple of them. You look at how they came on the scene, and then as soon as they got famous, they went dark. Lil Nas X, they went dark. They started presenting dark images. Uh, yeah, just a mess. So, you want to be the role model for your kids. You don't want them to be looking up to somebody who has already sold they soul to get where they at. And now that they where they at and have realized exactly what they signed up for, hell, half of them don't even want to be there no more. But once you in, you can't get out. Boss King was saying earlier, people not paying attention to how many of these people that are disappearing all of a sudden. People that's out here revealing stuff, and then the next thing you know, ain't nobody seen them. They don't know where they at. That Nancy Guthrie lady, I've been getting little tidbits here and there on what's going on with her case. It is very questionable. Her daughter, back 5 years ago, her daughter got on camera and said, we tried to break this Epstein story 3 or 4 years ago. So almost 10 years ago, she got a hold to a lot of that evidence and tried to put it, and the TV station wouldn't let her put it out there. Then when 4 or 5 years ago it started to leak out, she reminded us how she had did her research and all of the things and tried to put it out, and they wouldn't let her put it out. And now the shit is out, and now all of a sudden her mama done been kidnapped. I can imagine the amount of calls and stuff that's coming her way because of that. That was probably like some payback or some get back, because we told you to shut up and you kept talking and you kept talking. Now what you gonna say? We got your mama. Now what you gonna say? You ain't talking now, are you? So, that stuff we talked about years ago, and if you was here, you remember. She gone, Wait, poetic justice, when you say she gone, do you mean gone as in no longer with us gone? Or are you saying gone, gone, they ain't gonna never find her gone? Girl, what you saying? What you mean, girl? Because I have not been keeping up with her with that story. What you mean gone, girl? They took her out? She not amongst the living them? It hasn't been confirmed. Oh, girl. Oh, my. Well, I remember one night, if y'all remember, we was on live and John, what's John name? He's a content creator. John, he was somebody that was he was in the underground as well and was exposing and releasing information, and we would get on here and talk. And I remember one night somebody came on here and I think my internet was acting up, and I was trying to reconnect the internet, and I said something about, oh, it's a connection. It's called White Van, and somebody got in the chat and said, "Yeah, you better look out the window if you see a white van, and that means they own you. They own you." So, yeah, if y'all remember, I got up and looked, and sure enough, it was a white van, and I got scared quick, and I was like, "Oh my God, I don't know no more than what they done already released. We just going over stuff that's done already hit the internet. They just not, letting it show in some areas, but it definitely puts something on my mind, and you have to be careful, child. Some things they don't want you to talk about, honey. They will go to the extreme. But Lord, I don't know the woman, but I pray that she all right. She just happened to be related to somebody that was talking, and they didn't want to talk, and so she didn't understand the severity of it. But and they trying to blame the daughter. Yeah, well, hell, the daughter was talking. I mean, they probably told her to shut up. So I mean, what's she gonna do? I believe so, cause she was on life needing meds. Oh no! Yeah, the guy on Jenkins case. Oh, I don't know who that is. I don't know who the Jenkins is of the case. I haven't been watching. But well, anyway, y'all keep your head up. Um, Make sure your kids are secure and everything in school, because they passed the law last year that says anybody can go up to the school and get your kids, check them out. They don't need to show no ID. They don't need to be on the sign out list. Make sure that you're talking to your children every day about school. Make sure you've had the conversation. You don't leave with anybody without talking to me first. You got to communicate that with your kids, because the schools are reacting differently now. And I would hate for one of my supporters or friends or family to, end up on the news because they went to pick up their kid only to find out somebody else had checked them out that morning and nobody don't know nothing. You gotta start communicating with your kids and talking to them so that they understand, because it's so easy now for somebody to say, well, your mom told me to come and pick you up, and they don't know you from Santa Claus wife. So make sure that you're communicating with your kids and y'all have an understanding so that you don't have those type of accidents. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Thank y'all for stopping through and chit chatting with me. Y'all be blessed. Have a nice night, and hey, let's start off a good week. We only got one left in the month, right? I holla.